So, just for the record, your name is Gretchen Swanson.
Yes, it is.
Thank you so much for letting me interview you.
You're welcome.
Now, do I have permission to record this?
You do.
Thank you. Now, why do you invest time in me?
Well, Seaver, I've known you since you were a tiny baby, and I really enjoy spending time with you. You're a great kid. You're a great person. Everyone likes kids, but you're somebody that people like to be around because of you, not just because you were a little kid. Now that you're grown up, or growing up, it's really nice to talk to you, as an adult. And Greg and I just have always enjoyed any time that we had to spend with you.
Thank you. Now, where do you see me in 10 years?
I see you doing something that involves people, because you're very much a people person. Your mom and I always joke around that you never met a stranger. And what that means is, as soon as you meet someone, you make them your friend. So I see you in a sales job like your dad, maybe teaching like your mom, maybe leading a group of people as a manager. Definitely, you're someone that people look up to. People want to do what you're doing. I see you being really successful in anything that involves being around a lot of people.
Alright. Now, how have I made an impact on your life?
Let's see. Our family has a lot of Seaver stories that are always fun. Stuff that you used to do when you were little, or from Christmases that we spent together. I think probably the biggest impact you've had on our lives is you've brought a lot of fun and a lot of joy. We really consider ourselves lucky to have you part of our family.
Now, do you have any examples of that?
Let's see. Once, when you were in maybe first grade or kindergarten, my dad and I were working on the front yard at our old house, and we were pulling out a bunch of stuff and planting a bunch of stuff, and you were sitting on the on top of the fire hydrant on the sidewalk and talking to every single person who walked by. Like people who were out running, people who were walking their dog. You would say hi, and they'd stop and talk to you, and you're like this little kid. And this one gal ran by, and you stopped and talked to her, and you talked for a couple minutes, and you said, "This isn't my house, but I was not kidnapped." And my dad's like, "No, he was not kidnapped." And so we always like to tell that story about how you could stop people on the street and just strike up a conversation when you're only 6.
Wow, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, where did you see yourself when you were my age?
Let's see. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a writer, or maybe write advertising, be a copywriter. I thought I knew I liked to write and I liked to use words, and I thought that I thought the only way you could do that was actually being paid to write. I didn't realize there's almost any job if you can write. It's a big plus.
So now, what are you currently doing?
I'm a commercial banker. I work for JPMorgan Chase. So I use my writing every day, either when I'm putting together a proposal for a customer, when I'm putting together a loan package to submit to underwriting. I have to do a big write-up on what the company does, about their management, that type of thing. So even though I'm not being paid to write, I use my writing every day in my job.
Alrighty. So now, who did you look up to when you were my age? Like a celebrity or a famous person, or just like an uncle or something?
I had an English teacher, Miss McCartan, that I really looked up to. I also had a teacher, my high school had a thing called DECA, Distributive Education Clubs of America. It was kind of like a club where you learn different types of business. We ran the school store and stuff. I really looked up to my teacher for DECA, and I'm actually still in contact with her. I talk to her on a pretty regular basis.
Oh, wow, that's good. Now, so if you were assigned this project, you would probably do it on one of those teachers?
I might either do it on my DECA teacher, Mrs. Slauson from Capitol High School, or maybe my parents' best friends or our next door neighbors growing up, Nancy and Terry. They taught me that if you have a job you love, life is great. And they both really loved their jobs. Terry used to say, if you love your job, you never ever go to work. So I've really tried to model the jobs that I've picked on that to have something that you really enjoy doing.
Alrighty. Now, so the American Dream. Do you think? Well, the old American Dream, it was get a nice car, have 4 kids, beautiful wife, grow up successful, die happy.
Mhm.
Now, do you think that it's changed from that?
Um, yes and no. I think a big part of the American dream has always been to have your kids have a better life than you did. A couple generations ago, that might mean your kids going to college, where before no one in the family could have gone to college. Then it was the kids buy a nice house in the suburbs, or I think a lot of the American dream was around acquisition or acquiring
Yeah.
wealth or acquiring the trappings of wealth. I think that the American dream may have changed a little bit because I think every parent in the world wants their child to be happy. You can
Yeah.
ask any parent, what's your number one wish? I want my kids to be happy. And I think the American dream has changed a little bit from I want my kids to have this, this, and this to I want my kids to be and feel this, this, and this.
Okay, so it's no longer just material or money, it's just feelings and actual happiness.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Now, so do you think that that dream or the American dream is still possible to achieve? Do you think it's become harder, easier to achieve?
They're in parts it's harder. When I went to college, my college tuition equaled about half of my parents' house payment. My
Oh wow.
my parents' monthly house payment was about half of what my college tuition was for the
Wow.
and now my daughter's college tuition is about 3 times our house payment. So just in relative terms, you used to be able to have a year of college equaled about a low range Ford, Ford
Okay.
car.
Yeah.
And now college is much, much, much more expensive. So kids are graduating with a ton of debt.
Mhm.
So that saddles you with a lot of stuff right out of the gate. But I think that the ability to be happy and to do better than your parents did still can exist. It's just that it's changed a little bit.
So now, do you think that the fact that society is a lot more accepting about like race and sexuality, do you think that affects the American dream?
Yeah, I think it affects it tremendously. When I was in high school, I never, ever thought I'd meet someone who's gay.
Mhm.
I just thought that existed on television. Today, I'm sure you know gay people. And it's no more of a deal than that they're Irish or that they're left-handed. It's just part of who they are. Race, my parents' generation, races really didn't have a lot of crossover. You didn't have a lot of friends of other races. Some people didn't have a lot of friends of other religions. Reeland's grandparents, they had a mixed marriage, and seriously, people in town were like, "Well, that's kind of a mixed marriage." He was from Finland and she was from Norway, and that was like,
Those are like 100 miles away from each other.
yeah. So the difference in 2 generations. No one I know would blink at someone from completely different races being married. You'd never even you probably never even heard the phrase mixed marriage.
No.
Well, Huskies and Cougars, you probably heard that. And so I think that the acceptance of people for who they are, for race, sexuality, that type of thing, has made the American dream much better, especially for people who 1 or 2 generations ago would not have been accepted, would not have been able to live an authentic life with the person that they loved, no matter what their sex, race, creed. I think that makes the American dream much more attainable for a lot of people.
Alrighty, so now, did you achieve your American dream?
Yeah. I have a job that I love. I'm able to send my daughter to college. I live where I want to live. We have a comfortable life, so I guess I've achieved the American dream.
So now, is there one piece of advice that has had the most impact on your life and has influenced your decisions and your life?
Do what you love, the money will follow. Don't don't decide to do something because you're going to make a ton of money doing it, because you're going to hate it and be miserable and wake up every morning with your gut like this because you don't want to get out of bed. Look at what you're good at, look at what you like doing, and find something you can do with that will make you want to get out of bed in the morning. And you know what? The money will follow.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for letting me interview you again.
You're welcome.
It was
It was my
very-
pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay.